friends! How's it going? How are we doing? Sorry, gotta change my ring light real fast. Welcome in! It's OXENFREE time. We're gonna do more OXENFREE today. I don't have much to say this morning. Other than my arm still hurts. I am not nearly as tired as I usually am. And I'm stoked for more OXENFREE. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be good. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope things are going good for you on this here Wednesday. Hi, Ella. How are you doing, friend? Yeah, it's Wednesday, my dudes. I'm here. Life is being awful and horrible, and I don't have a lot of free time outside of streaming right now. Which isn't to say streaming is taking up all my time, it's just one of the few things that I have the energy for. Travis, welcome in as well. Stars, hi. How are y'all doing? I'm around, though. You can always say hello. I just might not respond for a good long while. This is where I am in my life right now. I love you all. I'm just bad at staying in touch. But howdy, friends. Reminder, we have the community challenge up. If we get enough points, we'll do our spooky modded alien stream. I'm thinking if we get enough points for that, we might do that for my birthday. Because I have been recently reminded that that's coming up in like a month. So mayhaps that's when we'll shoot to do that particular stream. Consider. What else? Not this next week, but the following week. So 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I might try a new schedule. I'm still working out the specifics for it. So we'll see about a potential new schedule then. Again, fewer streams, but longer streams? Is that a Fortnite? What is this? What? That was a throne alert, but it didn't pop up. Who did what now? Who did what now? Please? Hold on. I gotta pull up Throne so I can see what just happened. Was it you, Ella? Ella! It's a kitty toy. It's a toy for the kitty cats. It's the little mouse with all the feathers. Thank you, Ella. I know a certain weirdo cat who is going to adore that. It's her. It's this kid. It's this kitty cat right here. Thank you, friend. I really appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. Sorry, I don't know how to, like, interact right now. But I do really appreciate it. It means a lot. I've tried to, like, put things up on my wish list that are of varying prices. I don't know. My wish list is a fucking mess right now. I need to go through and actually, like, work on it. It's a mess. But thank you, Ella. I mean, I have put things and stuff on it. I have done. Hello. Who's this? It's Devo. You like to hide under the desk nowadays. But no, thank you, Ella. I appreciate it. What else? Also, is that a Fortnite? 2 weeks? Hi. Desk Midori. Yes, please. Devo's been being a weirdo lately and has been, like, extra needy. But instead of just, I mean, he's still just crying about it. But he has also come to the realization that he can, like, bother me. Like, come up to me and, like, pat at my legs or or bump his head against my chair. So he's now also physically demanding as opposed to just auditorily demanding. Hi, do you want to come here? Good boy. Here he is. Here he is. Here's the boy. Are you a happy lad? Devo? Everyone's saying hi. Why won't you look at them, Devo? Why won't you say hello? What are you doing? He's a wiggly lad. A fortnight is 14 days? Well, damn. You learn something every day. He's just pleased to be being held, honestly. Look at him. Oh, he's so happy. Can I set you on my lap? I'm gonna set you in my lap. You can stay with me. But you need to sit down, okay? Good boy. My good little boy. Hi. Thanks. I have been, look, we know we cute as hell. But it's kind of like a treat to myself. I've been doing my makeup a little bit more. Not that I'm like putting a ton on or anything, but it's just like I will wake up in the morning and be like, I'm gonna do this for myself. And I do, and it's been very nice. Yeah. Also, I saw that Travis and Ella contributed to the Alien stream. Thank you for that. Hi, Emmy. How's it going, friend? Sorry I was like in and out of your stream earlier today. The cats were menaces. I had to like clean up the cat box situation. And then they decided that they were gonna knock a bunch of shit over in my bedroom, and then a fight broke out, and it's just... the cats are being a lot today. And that's okay. Because they're sweet babies and they deserve all the love, but also I need them to chill out for a minute. If it's not household nonsense, it's cat nonsense. And if it's not cat nonsense, then it's personal nonsense. Hi. I'm talking about you. And how ridiculous you are, sir. Right. It's all good. We're making it work. Sorry, I have like 5 billion things going on in my brain at once. So yeah, in 2 weeks, essentially, not this coming week, but the week after, we might try out a new schedule. Next week, I think we have something special planned. But I'm not gonna say anything about that. You'll just have to find out what it is then. And then, yeah, I think this weekend, we're just gonna do more Last of Us. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's gonna... Next week is gonna be a weird, wacky, fun thing. It's gonna be a fun thing. I would give details, but I don't know where the thing is happening. Or what times the thing is happening. Gotta run it by the other person. But yeah, shall we do some OXENFREE in the meantime? Gonna pause that and move it over here. Also, I know that some of you have noticed other person I said there's gonna be a co-op stream. There's gonna be co-op streams. Don't worry about it. It's fine. That's all I'm saying though. We're playing a specific game. Just gonna be this person and me. Nah, there's still no details. Don't worry about it. I wonder. No, it's gonna be great. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You might know who it is, Emmy, but you don't know what we're doing. You don't know what's gonna get played. Don't worry about it. But yeah, like I said, potential new schedule in 2 weeks. not fewer streams, longer streams. Yeah. Still trying to figure out, like, timing for all that. It might be, like, not middle of the day, but, like, late afternoon, early evening. Gonna test some stuff out. I might also just do some random streams in the meantime to, like, get a feel for stuff. Yeah. Well, it's like, I never did, like, particularly long streams. I did 3-hour streams, which I know for some folks is long. That's fine. But I'm thinking, like, maybe, like, 5 to 6 hour streams, like 5 times a week. It'll be about the same amount of time that I usually stream anyway, but it'll just be longer blocks. Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna try some stuff out. There's not gonna be, like, any sort of set time or anything. For the first little bit, I'm gonna test out a few different times to see what I like best and what works well for everyone involved, but me mostly. And then we'll set something up that way. I want to see how longer streams work. And if I like that better than just multiple shorter streams. So yeah. But that's all I've got as far as, like, news is concerned. It's OXENFREE time. Yeah, we're just gonna test it out. Test the waters, see how it goes. Also.
Oh, gonna hate to go out in that.
Oh, we have to do the peeing thing again?
I've had to go pee for like a while now, so
I guess this is fine.
Stuck anyway. I thought I'd...
Oh my god, go in the corner then.
I'm sorry. I know this is like way too much too soon for us right now, but I'm gonna totally explode.
Just pee, Jonas.
I'll force it out fast.
This is... If the night needed a capper, this is it. Right here. My favorite
right? This is fine, because I think this is about the time that one of my VODs decided that it needed to be muted. I still haven't figured out why they're trying to mute my VODs, but
really carrying it.
There are captions for both me and the game, so I'm not terribly worried about it, but I am just trying to figure it out. In case anyone else goes back to try and, like, watch the previous VODs, know that that's a thing. I have to do the stupid test all over again?
What is she thinking?
Oh, okay. Okay, this is fine.
Is that Clarissa out there?
This is fine.
Hello?
I didn't realize it, like, put us back this far.
Is this going out, or... Wait, I can...
Devo, you can't attack the TV.
Man, maybe she didn't see us. I don't know, but whatever. She still has a radio, so we still gotta get to her.
There we go. We'll do this. Assuming it's not bugged. It's fine. It worked. We don't actually need to listen to that because we listened to pretty much all of them last time. Hi. This is fine. We know the answers. Here I was being like, we're gonna get through this stuff this next time. Don't have to worry about this when we go to play again. No, we do. We have to.
First they finger
we have to.
Then they wear our lungs like scarves.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to keep the traditions alive.
It's fine. I can say what I wanted to say this
What was
time.
that? You heard that, right?
I'm sure it's just the evil again. I forgot this step in between the finger paint and wearing our lungs. They also drop things. It's not opening. Clarissa!
I also, like...
I'm worried.
I'm really hoping that some of the choices that we made definitely change the outcome. Because we kind of... We did it fine.
It's our only hope for getting us out of here so far.
Okay, well... Shall we blow up the light? Let's go. Thank you.
High in the Cascade Mountains of Washington, the Navy opens the world's largest radio transmitter. Its 1 million watts can flash a message around the world in 1/10 of a second. Hey kids, wanna play a game?
The Navy. Sorry.
It's talking about the Navy?
Hangman?
Be sharp and listen, mister. This is going
Let's
to tell the
go!
classification board a lot about
I'm
what
gonna
can be
ace this
expected
test
of you as a
again!
future.
Ouch.
How
Can you
many
not claw me,
questions
please?
will you be able to get in the allotted time?
Like
All of them.
Test?
Hey, why are tested. What did we do?
Here's a simple one to start, so don't hold your breath. What is the name of the school you are standing in?
School we're standing in.
U.S. Army Radio Communications School.
That's the stuff, Charlie. Now you're swinging. It all goes into your final rating. You want to get a good rating, don't you?
Evo, you're very distracting, buddy.
You want to be a good soldier?
Why the hell would we want to be a good soldier?
Yeah, sure. If that's what you want.
Excellent.
Got this lumpus in my lap.
What is going on?
Ugh, I feel like I'm stuck on a tilt-a-whirl.
Just keep the pointer on the button. Question 2. What did the communications officers at Fort Milner call codes?
Cookies.
I know that.
You call codes cookies?
There.
Lumpus.
Now you're cooking. Coded radio transmitters have an important job, and you wouldn't want them to be unqualified.
Okay, look. Is this a trick? Is whatever I'm gonna say gonna bite me in the ass no matter what? Because if that's the case, then...
Watch your language.
Ace Energy, so you ace the test. Beautiful. Sorry. It's very good. Thank you, stars.
But be wary, young ones.
No, I meant to say leave Jonas out of this. Oh, butts. Oh well.
One last round and you've cleared your exam. Pencils ready.
Perfect.
How many officers died in the sinking of the USS Kanaloa?
85?
10.
85?
Correct.
Yeah.
97 brave men and women
Yeah.
died on the USS Kanaloa.
Yeah.
12 passengers.
Ace Energy helped. We aced it.
It all adds up to another
We done
fact
did
on the
it.
classification board. Just another fact among many.
I didn't need to get that far.
Okay, where is... There it is. There it is. Where? There's the next one. And the last one. Okay, so thank you for the clip, Travis. Right? Leave Jonas alone. He didn't do nothing.
The United States submarine Kanaloa is shown for the first time in Pacific waters patrolling for the enemy. Pacific waters patrolling for the enemy.
Hi, Llama. Lamia has also woken up.
The commander looks out over the ocean's surface. Kanaloa was lost today, lost at sea near...
Okay.
Is this... Are you the dead officers that sunk
I
on
like-
Kanaloa?
I do like that the way that the characters are like animated or not animated after they get possessed.
What do you...
They just lay there, not moving at all, and it's like, are you dead? Listen. What's up, Jonas?
What? That was not fun.
Are you feeling better?
I'm feeling. Let's start with that.
This has been United News, and thank you for listening.
This is just unbelievable.
we love having all of the cookies.
That's gotta be Clarissa.
Give
Let's
us
get
all
her
of
and
the
get outta here.
cookies.
Or use her
I would like
radio
some
and get
cookies
outta
now,
here, but
actually.
Let's just get out of here.
Real talk. I would love me some cookies. Maybe I'll pick up some cookies.
Asleep right now. Be still so as not to wake her.
Huh?
Gotta fix Clarissa.
Cross your fingers.
We gotta fix Clarissa.
Actually came. I mean, it did take you long enough, but still, good.
Jonas, what are you
Sitting
doing over there?
fumbling around with this stuff? I don't don't know how to work this crap.
Are you alright?
I mean, yeah. Why? Yeah, sure, my hair might be a little weird, but there's not a lot I can do about that.
You just sounded really distressed, that's all.
Well, I
Hey,
mean,
Mama.
I don't know. I'm fine now, so
All right,
Are
where's
you,
this
though?
famous radio?
I don't know. I can't get it to do anything I want.
Alex, want to take a look at this?
Let's
Yeah,
look at the radio.
no, this is
Are we gonna see her, like, yeet herself out of the window again?
It won't. I don't think it can beam out.
Really?
No. Isn't there a way?
Officers who know your problems full and well will give you a friendly and sympathetic hearing.
Or is Ren gonna be the one?
Boss here? Wait,
Oh.
was all this stuff here a minute ago? Because if it was, there is something seriously wrong with me.
Some things. I don't know.
Yeah, this isn't good. Wait, we already saw this, I think.
This stuff. It's like the base is reverting back to when it was functional, or that's not the right word, but
Yeah, no, I know, it's crazy. This
Did
is
this
crazy.
happen
This
last
is-
time?
I don't even know, it's just nuts.
the cave triangle people said, like, I don't want to. Look, I just want to try something. Like, if we can't call out, maybe we can try that thing, talking to, like, ourselves, you know? Just, this makes sense in my head, okay?
Okay, sure.
Hey, Clarissa, are you still in the base? We're in the comm room, I think, because...
Good job, Opal!
Won't be
So easy.
Cross your fingers.
Yeah,
Fart.
fingers crossed, sure.
Clarissa! Is there anything like... Can we cut her down? Cross your fingers.
Holy crap.
Did we...
Is something wrong? Or not?
We keep doing the same...
What?
We've gone through this door like twice now, and it keeps...
Did we have
keep changing.
that room the last time, though?
Because I'm not really following.
I'm not nutso, Jonas. We've, like, done this. We've gone through this door and seen Clarissa twice now, and we're about to do it a third time.
Okay, alright, I'm sorry, I believe that. You believe this, so alright, just keep me posted, I guess, on how that develops. Clarissa? I would have swore she was in here.
Better gone than dead.
Oh, maybe this was the thing, the radio she was using. If we can get it to... I mean, she got it to kinda work, so...
Yeah, it only broadcasts within a short space. It's not gonna do what we need it to.
Really? How do you know?
Jonas, we're in a loop. We already just... It's okay. Knock yourself out.
I also, like... Last time it said that, like, we kept Jonas at, like, a distance, and I thought we were, like... pretty okay as far as, like...
Clarissa?
Clarissa, what are you doing?
Alex, don't worry.
What
I
is
will
the
never
matter
forget
with
that
her?
I am an American.
Clarissa!
Fighting
There will be other ships and other souls to sail them.
Bye, Clarissa!
Oh my god! Why would she do that? Why would she do that? We're not... It's not like we're... Oh, God!
She was like possessed. I just...
Totally fine. 100% fine.
Jonas, this is so horrible.
No, it's fine. She's fine.
I don't even know what to...
Don't worry about it. She's
We
fine.
should get to the others. I can't even imagine telling them. Or how to tell them.
Telling them, I just want to... We have to round them up before anything else...
No,
before
fine-ish.
anything like this, like... I don't even
Okay,
know what to do,
fine.
Jonas. If they're thinking of doing the same thing...
We'll figure it out. This is unbelievable.
No fine-ishing.
Wow. There's no way she got up from that, right? Like, there's no way. We both...
Wait, she's... alive?
What?
How is that possible?
It's fine. Don't worry about it, Alex.
In my pocket that survive that. So why isn't she here?
She's-
This isn't possible, because unless
Did just go through a sort of a temporal anomaly.
Sniffles.
Time thing? Maybe it's screwed with what happened?
well, regardless, good news.
Yes, Jonas, of course it's good news that Clarissa isn't dead. Christ.
It's
That's
not.
why I hesitated. Of course it's good news if she's not dead. I'm just saying if.
What, you think she's a zombie now? 3 seconds ago you said she couldn't get up from that. Now you're leaping right into zombie.
I'm not saying she's a zombie. I'm saying we don't know what she is currently.
She's a zombie. Confirmed. Clarissa zombie confirmed. The Sunken. You think we're gonna get to the end of this sit
Well,
down?
Guess it's Ren time. Let's hope it's less eventful.
Okay. She could be a Dracula. This is accurate? Sorry, I have like something in my eye. Clarissa could be a Dracula. I'd believe it. Okay, we are gonna take the slightly longer path. So I don't want to have to do all that climbing. Plus, we haven't been through the woods yet? Or do they want us to take the bridge? We should probably take the bridge, because we came from this direction, didn't we? Okay, that's okay. I guess I'll do all the climbing that they want me to do. I suppose. Also, Dracula Clarissa just sounds so obnoxious. I don't want to deal with that. What is up here? Can we not interact with that? Can I not go through here? I am upset. Oh, it's fine. We'll just run all the way back. So we do have to go through the woods to get to Ren. Understood. Not happy about it, but I understand. Alright. Just slowly make our way all the way over here. Why is Jonas so slow, though? Honestly. In comparison to how quickly we're running around. Jonas is dragging behind. Alright. No tired. Only run. We don't have time to mess around. Jonas has to go fast. He has to. It's required. Those are the rules.
I didn't realize just how much woods there were. This is like a genuine forest.
Yeah, it's like, what, 20 square miles or something? It's like half the island.
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be a park or something.
There is a park, but it's part of the woods.
But I just want to make sure, you know, that we do know where we're going. Right?
Didn't Didn't we skip something? Like, a lot of something? This thing's so weird looking.
Oh.
Apparently it's 400 years old. There's a
I
cafe in
didn't
town named after
mean
it.
to interrupt.
Next on the tour of Edwards Island, an old bush.
Yeah, no, you're right. Who cares? History, am I right?
I'm not making fun, it's just... it's a tree. But I just want to make sure, you know, that we know
Okay, I'm
where
glad
we're
it loops
going.
back on.
We do.
Yeah, of course. It's just over the river and through the wood, like the song.
Yeah, but in the song, the horse knew the way to carry the sleigh. Through the white and whatever snow.
Yeah, and in this particular scenario, I'm the noble steed who will lead us merrily to grandmother's house.
And
I am
then
horse.
Being Ren, right.
You know,
Very good.
This whole place really creepily reminds me of a park or woods, I guess, near where I used to live. It's really kind of felt just like this.
Oh yeah? What was that one called?
Peabody, I think. I'm trying to remember the sign, but like half the letters had fallen off, so it's spelled peep pork.
I'm at a bridge.
My dad was really happy to move here, you know. He said the schools were
Charity
safer,
Point.
less knifings per capita. I guess he never considered the danger of whatever's happening right now. But, you know, everything's got something.
No offense, but your town sounds like the worst place on earth.
Well, it's not like your town. I'll put it that way.
Well, dang. I also realize I'm going the wrong way, but I want to look at stuff, especially since it skipped all of this. I think the game heard me complaining about all the running I was doing. Okay, there's not really anything back down there because that's where we came from, right? Oh, well, now I have to check because I'm not sure. Yeah, no, this is where we came from. Okay. No knifings in our town? Just the ghosts of some sunken sailors? Or sailors. Can I actually...
Oh, Jesus, what are you doing jumping across that? There's like another way down here. I can't believe
Look, Jonas, I do like 1 million jumping jacks a day. This is nothing.
Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry.
Jumping jacks don't translate to jumping over pits, Alex. Listen. Go to the bridge stand. That is where we want to go, but I want this rock. There is a rock here. And then I want to go the way that we're going? Get that rock. Get that rock.
It'll be good having somebody else here to watch after the grounds, Bill.
I was at Park Warden in Grants Pass, so this'll be old hat to me. William Marshall, a local park ranger working in Edwards Forest, killed himself today after what his wife describes as a years-long battle with depression. His body was found hanging from a tree in the...
Oh! Is it this tree? I guess this is the way that we came the first time through. Like because we passed the tree and we got information about it, right? So maybe we do come in from up here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go to the bridge stand here. Oof. I would really like for my shoulder to stop hurting. I definitely considered doing another art stream today in place of more OXENFREE. But I realized that that would probably be a bad deal. because doing it the other day was not the greatest for my arm. It was a lot of fun though. I enjoyed it.
Why is there a cable car here? Couldn't they have just made just like a normal bridge?
Yeah, it's kind of neat, right? It's like going on a gondola ride.
I don't know if I'd say it's neat. It looks less than welcoming. Or at least it doesn't look very inviting. Or even on.
Look, it's a little scary. It needs us, so...
Art is good for the heart,
I know.
but bad for the back and shoulders.
Let's just see if we gotta
honestly.
take the, conveyor thing.
Well, I'm like, I have the tendency, I mean, like, I know a lot of people do, but, like, I definitely, like, gremlin hunch when I'm doing my art. And it just doesn't help.
If indeed he find fault with anything, or expose it, with charity, the abbot shall discuss it prudently.
Lest perchance God has sent him for this very thing.
Did we not do this one last time? I don't remember that one.
Oh, check out the smallest cemetery in the Pacific Northwest. Literally, it's from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Jesus, I thought that was a pet cemetery. I'm kind of relieved this island's depressing enough.
Yes, because the death of a pet is so much more tragic than the death of all these people. I mean, it is. But also, I wish we could. I wish we could use an easel for everything. Or just, like, I don't know. I want to... considering having, like... Because I know you can buy... Sorry, let me finish a thought first. I know you can get those, like, boards that act like a drafting table, but aren't, like, the full drafting table. So that you can, like, lift it up and, like, change the angle of the thing that you're working on. I would love to get one of those for the collages and stuff that I do. So I'm not having to, like, lean over all my nonsense all the time.
I know who I am, and I know who you are, and nothing else makes a difference.
But I don't know. Normally it's not too terrible. Just with my shoulder having unplugged itself the other day. It's being a little difficult. What is this?
It says it's the, I don't know, cat bird.
Hi! What?
The call sign is weird.
Would you like to come here?
The dial doesn't go that far.
Huh.
Look, it's a Lamia. Hello. Hello, Lamia. Would you like to sit in my lap? You're much better about just sitting than Devo is. Hi. Yep. Ugh. I say you're better, but you're doing it real bad right now, Lam. Can you lay down? Hold on a second. Hey, I need you to get comfy and pop your butt down. Thank you. Kinda being a turd hole. Okay, let's go into this cabin. Assuming I don't get stuck on corners. Alex, please.
Power transfer station 167.
The delay.
That's a little strange. Why wouldn't they lock it? I mean, somebody should have locked it, right?
Maybe there's no need? Like there's nothing here to steal or something?
Alright, I'll go with that just cause... What else am I gonna do?
Let's look at the television.
Terrorized on an island by unseen forces really makes you miss television.
Well, maybe if we get the power working, you can catch up on the soaps.
Haha. Haha, Jonas.
Wait, like the first thing it says is, beware of overload. Do not attempt restart without supervision. So I don't know.
Terrific, you'll be my supervisor. Supervisor Jonas. So what does it say to do?
Just let me do it. That way, if something bad happens, you know.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. It's just that you know, kind of, your way around here. You know Ren. If someone were to get electrocuted, it should be me, right? It makes some kind of circus sense.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
All right.
What if he fucking dies?
What's happening? Why'd the lights
Okay.
go out?
I don't know. Is this even the right thing?
There's only one thing. It's the only thing. If this doesn't work, there's nothing else. The lamp's flickering. Do you think it's like on backup power now or something?
Might be, but I don't know.
For some reason, it reminds me of the cave.
Is this you?
Any ideas?
Is this you trying to tell me to
Light kinda
blow that up?
reminds me of that triangle thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's a transmission or something. Other than that, I don't know. Hop up and down and cry about our bad luck.
It's... I can't believe this. It's locked now.
It's okay. We'll just... There's got to be a way to turn the power on still.
There we go. Monster.
That's... God, I haven't heard this in forever. This is something my mom used to... I am so tired of this funhouse bullcrap.
Did he mention his mom when that played last time? I'm trying to, like... I know we just played it, like, this last week. But I've already, like, forgotten everything. I don't think he did. I know the second time around...
Was that there before? Alex, are you alright?
It's just a...
Alex?
Oh no!
What is this?
Listen carefully. There is no way out.
Jesus. Alex, are you okay?
The way she crumpled.
You went blank for a second.
So, that wasn't fun. Not exactly.
No, not fun.
Right? It's just a demon. That didn't happen last time. Last time we spooked Jonas.
Yeah, sorry about this.
No, I'm not saying it like it's anyone's fault. It's nobody's fault. It just happened. Stuff happened.
If I hadn't brought the radio and hadn't tuned it into that... whatever.
No, don't say that. Well, actually, you saying that saves me from saying it, so thank you.
Hey!
I kid.
Do you, though?
Humming like a barracuda.
Barracudas don't hum.
Says you, man.
Alright, get in here, Jonas. Let's
Thank
go.
the Lord.
Go to the campground. Let's go! Let's go! Oh, I didn't like the way that jumped. Please. Devo. I need you to not cry over there, buddy. Hello, Llama.
Well, when you look at that, it didn't collapse. That's one good thing that happened tonight.
Yep. Yay.
You used to come here a lot as a kid.
Stars,
right?
thank
To
you for the
islands.
contribution.
I mean, that's what Ren made it sound like.
Yeah. With my brother.
With Michael? Yeah? Like, with your mom and dad, or...?
Sometimes mom and dad, but mostly just him and me.
Oh, that's cool. Like he'd be babysitting you and he'd bring you out here? That's nice of him. He could have just stayed home, you know?
It wasn't like that. We were like best friends. It's not like he was being forced to do it. He wanted to.
Hi,
do it.
TK.
We liked hanging out together.
Thank you for the contribution to the alien
Yeah,
stream.
of course.
Okay.
Some people camp
Tent.
here, but it's weird. I don't know why they just leave their tent.
Looks kinda dumpy. Like, I don't know, like it's been abandoned.
Lamia, the way that you're laying in my
I can see
lap
this place
cannot be
being cool, like in the
comfortable.
summer, or even in the spring. You got the park, you got the main street shops.
Yeah, well, after tonight, douse it in gasoline and light a match. I am never coming back here again.
Bad place. Never again. It's about here that, yeah.
You used
It's
to
like...
come here a lot as a kid, right? To the island. I mean that's what Ren made it sound.
Do you ever get deja vu? I feel like didn't we just walk through here?
Huh. That's funny, I don't think we have. Okay, yeah, tonight's like being trapped in a nightmare zoo, but I don't know, you have memories here, right? Jumping off the diving board with little Janie and eating ice cream with little Franklin, stringing crisp...
I never did any of that!
All I'm saying is, before tonight, this was a pretty cool place. And you did stuff here, and it's a part of you, you know? It's a part of you. And I just wouldn't want our first night out to, you know, wreck all of that.
Aww.
I just wouldn't want that.
Fine. I won't hold it against the island, or whatever. I won't hold it against you or the island. I'll keep my memories. Happy. Wait, wasn't this... We
kind of
passed this
sweet.
a minute ago, right? And it wasn't burning?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay. Well, I guess let's just loop on through again. Let's go.
You used to come here a lot as a kid, right? To the island. I mean that's what Ren made it sound like.
We have definitely been here before. This is weird.
What's weird? 'Cause I don't remember any of this.
Jonas, seriously, you don't remember? You keep asking me if I came here as a kid a lot. Again and again.
Okay. I mean, if you say so, but like, I don't even know what you're saying. What are you saying? Are we lost? Or is it some...
Keep repeating this one moment for some reason. God, can't things stay normal for like 2 friggin' seconds?
Nope,
Well,
not
there's
allowed.
something a little troubling that I can't tell besides a headache I've only just noticed, but okay, let's deal with this now. Sure.
Jonas, everything was going so well between us.
This is, new. It kind of stinks.
Yeah, it smells like it's been sitting in a diaper for a month.
Gross! Why is the ball stinky?
Take that, ball. Who's there?
So it's just... I'm taking a picture of the ball moving, not your kicking, just so you know.
Not cheese ball.
Alright, who are you?
Alright, who are you?
Rude.
Maybe don't antagonize whoever.
It's a good one.
I think they have a sense of humor.
Hey, come on!
Do we chase after it?
Oh my god. Alex, can you...
My doctor's not gonna be happy with my blood pressure this year.
Yeah, mine neither.
I did really like this section the first time going through.
It's like, God,
This
that
is
looks...
new.
Wait, what is this? The foundation's still up, but they left all the furniture. And equipment. Like, why hasn't this been torn down or converted into something else?
It's because of the time loop.
I'm gonna
thing,
make Fetch a
Jonas. It's
thing.
not, like, part of the tour or anything.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on a second. I love Lamia so dang much. But she's a little wiggly right now. You got the big purse, though. She's got the big purse, though. My happy bean. She's hurting my legs, though. Listen. I love her so much. But my legs are a little crampy because of how she's sitting on me. She does got the good wiggles. Look at her. Hi. What? Are you gonna lay down? Yeah, you are. Okay. We love her so much. But my hips can't handle it right now. She's too wiggly. This is very different.
It's like the machine in the cave. Ren would know what it is. That two-way receiver intercom thing. Maybe we try the talk to ourselves thing? Or if somebody's listening on a ham radio or something, I might be able to reach them.
Yeah. Thank God for weirdo basement hobbyists. Let's try it out.
Hello? Hello? Anybody out there? Alex? We missed the last ferry off the island, so...
Do not hurt yourself with the stream of trying. There is no way out.
Sad.
Jonas! Jonas, where are you?
They've stolen her stepbrother. Jonas, come back! Jonas, come back! Jonas! Jonas!
Whoa, wait, what's happening?
Who is it this time?
Tell Michael to stay with Clarissa. They like each other a lot. What are you?
Can't see their name.
Wait. We've done this before.
Oh, really? Again?
It's alright. We must have just missed...
Good luck at your meeting. No promises that I won't get possessed.
Are you... Can you...
Thanks for stopping in and saying hi, though, TK.
It's starting to stick. Yeah, I mean, it's still sort of foggy, but whatever. I'll deal with it.
Okay. Can we go through this time? Got our little machine.
Huh. This is... It's just like the armoire in the cave. Super duper old, but in, like, new condition. It's one of those, magnetophones, I think they're called.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
did
I
that.
didn't realize I felt like a pressure in my head until right now. Maybe doing that fixed the loop. But whatever you did helped something, I think.
Yeah, but making it sound right did what?
I don't know, but it's like my allergies cleared up or something. Let's just keep going and get Ren.
It's just the noggin ghosts. You just got ghosts in your noggin. Don't worry about it.
So, having fun yet?
I'm so glad our families are uniting, Alex. This will be a grand adventure for the two of us.
Unless we die.
Unless we die, yes. What do you think they want? The ghosts.
I think it's usually like justice or something. Vengeance.
Yeah. I just hope they want to, like, play soccer every once in a while, and that's it.
If only it were so easy.
Yesterday, the remains of 4 bodies were discovered in 2 cars submerged west of Cape Mears. How the cars got in the water, no one...
Okay. How many of those do we have now? 7 out of 12. Go us. We're making progress. Up. It's not where anything is, so let's go here. Because there is a rock. Get that laundry done. Go wash all the clothes. You got this, Stars. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi, though, friend.
Thresher, Peterhoff, Arizona.
We'll see you around. Is that... okay. Bench.
Remember
Bench.
this. The two Jacks carved their Jack Mitchell and Jack Ladd. They used to hang out together all the time, and they carved their names into this bench on a school trip once. You don't care, do you?
No, please keep going.
Okay. On another school trip, they
Stop.
Again, I'm trying to like make different choices than we did the first time around, but some of the choices that we made the first time I think were right. Because I just don't know like what the ratio is for what would be considered like not like keeping Jonas close or not having everyone hate you.
Don't move, okay? Don't come anywhere near me.
Nona.
Just don't move.
Nona, come on, it's us. You can see it's us. It's me and Jonas.
This night has turned banana bread really fast, and I'm seeing things and forgetting things, and I bumped into you once already, and it was horrible. So, we're gonna take it.
We haven't. This is the first time we've seen you since the beach.
Be that as it may, I've seen an Alex. So, just look. You're not gonna talk about my grandfather. You're just gonna stand there, politely, and tell me if you've seen Clarissa. 'Cause I've been looking.
We're here because we think Ren is somewhere in the woods. Have you seen him?
No, not Ren. Okay, well...
Hey, listen, Nona. You should come with us. That way we're not all, you know, separated.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Alright, okay. Hey, I get it, I do. I'm jumpy right now too, but...
Just let her go, Jonas. She's a space monkey right now.
Wait, just... Nona, can you do me a favor? Can you go to the comm tower and wait for us? We got the lights on there, and... it seems pretty...
Yeah, that's a good idea. Go to the
comm
comm tower.
tower.
And the comm tower is... where?
It's the cloud buster at the edge of town. Can't miss it.
Alright, bye.
She barely argued with us this time. Good. I wonder if we go back to Fort Milner, if Nona will have, like, written that message for Clarissa. I mean, she wouldn't, right? Because, like, last time we knew that Clarissa was at Fort Milner, but we hadn't gone there just yet. I don't know. Weird. Alright. Up we go.
Hey, just for me. Why'd you let me flip the switch back at the bridge? To be honest, I expected you to just bull ahead and do it yourself.
Because you wanted to, that's why. Pretty simple, really.
Alright.
Jonas, you got on my case
that
last
must be the way
time.
station. And actually, help me understand, why would an island need anything like that anyway? Like, nobody's going anywhere. Doesn't the whole thing just go in a circle?
It just bore you.
Hey, I like history. Remember? That army equipment in the tower?
Oh.
Can I ask you something?
I clicked on it, but it didn't.
Yeah?
You think I'm kind of a slacker idiot, right? Like, I wouldn't find any of this stuff interesting?
Jonas, I think you're smart. Come on, what are you talking
RB equipment.
about?
What is going on over there?
I just sometimes get these, like, whiffs of... I don't know. I can't think of the word for it.
Maybe it's stress? Like from what's going on right now?
You think I don't know stress? I know stress.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know. Nah, it'll come to me.
Huh. I think I remember reading that this well
Jonas, you're
is supposed to be
fine.
the first thing ever built or whatever on the island back in the 1600s.
It doesn't have a sign or anything.
It used to, I think.
What's over here? What's over here? Okay, so this is the cliffside. I want to see if there's anything else on the other side of the cabin. Excuse me. from the right-hand side. So I think there's an anomaly here somewhere. I think. Nope, no anomaly. Okay. Weird. Strange, even. Hey, Ren.
Guys, Jesus, it took you forever to get here. What happened? I've been scared out of my mind. Hearing things...
We went to Milner first. Clarissa was having a slow motion conniption, and I don't know, it just seemed more pressing.
Oh my god. Clarissa can handle herself. I'm the one that needed a babysitter until I was 14. Do you have, like...
Ren.
Any idea what's going on?
Okay, that must be the way station. And actually, help me understand, why would an island need anything like that anyway?
Ugh, Jonas, we're repeating the same stuff again.
We are? Oh, it's kind of weird that you can tell when it's happening and I can't, right? I mean, it's not like... I mean, I'm glad someone can tell, but it's just strange.
The way that... Like, it takes me a second to read everything, especially when everything's all, like, fuzzy. And I get, like, wanting to answer in real time, but also, I need slightly longer.
Hey, Ren. Are you alright?
Ren? Ren!
Ren, come on. What's the matter?
It's going off that way. So what if I... Oh, that's to the other side of the cabin.
What's he doing? Is he, like, sleepwalking? I don't know how he, like, fell asleep during all this, but...
I've seen sleepwalking, okay? Michael sleepwalked, and the worst he'd do is take his pillow into the hallway. This is like something else. Ren? Are you in there? Come on, pal. The neighbors are here, and they want to borrow some sugar.
This isn't a guy on drugs. Not that I want to, like, alarm you.
Yeah, I don't want to say the word possession here, but I don't know if you remember, but the last time we got stuck, we used one of these things to get out of it, so I'm not just messing around right now.
Yeah, I remember. Kind of.
Vaguely remember. There's a hint of a memory there. The potential for a memory.
Hey, where'd Ren go? He was standing right there.
Oh god, please don't let me have screwed this up anymore.
Is Ren over here in the cabin? Or is he up on the cliff? I don't remember. Ren?
Ren must have used this to call us.
Oh, it looks smashed.
Hi, pal.
Crap. I don't... Maybe we shouldn't, go near him?
Ren, can you hear me?
I mean, I know they say don't move somebody with a spine injury, but it's like, we gotta do something, right?
Yeah, any thoughts on what we could do?
If I did have any thoughts on what would solve this, wouldn't that be a little weird?
Okay, let's just tune in. Tune in to Ren Station.
Helping him, hopefully. I don't know.
Yikes, 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 yikes. Where is it? Here? Was it there? No. Where is it? Yeah? Is it bugged? Because it's not really showing anything. Oh no. Oh no. It's not. The station wasn't there. It wasn't registering. That's an issue. So we'll go back to the main menu and reload and see if that helps. We're gonna have to do all of that again, aren't we? Oh. Maybe I'll be able to catch some of the dialogue that I didn't get to do.
At the bridge. To be honest, I expected you to just.
Because you wanted to, that's why. Pretty simple, really.
All right. Okay, that must be the way station. And actually, help me understand, why would an island need anything like that anyway? Like, nobody's going anywhere.
It just bore you.
Hey, I like history. Remember? That army equipment in the tower?
Yeah, no, but that's like war history, and this is farming history. There's a difference.
Oh, I see. Can I ask you something?
Yeah, of course.
You think I'm kind of a slacker idiot, right?
We're already doing better this time.
Any of this stuff interesting?
Jonas, I think you're smart. Come on, what are you talking about?
I don't know. I just sometimes get these, like, whiffs of... I don't know. I can't think of the word for it.
Disdain?
I don't know. Act it out.
Disdain.
No, that's not it. It's like, I don't know. Nah, it'll come to me.
Huh. I think I remember reading that this well is supposed to be the first thing ever, built, or whatever, on the island. Back in the 1600s.
It's a good way to act out disdain, I guess.
It used to, I think.
You know what? Actually, I want to come into the cabin from this direction. I've decided. We're doing it a little different. Also, we're not finishing this today, but we'll finish it up on Friday. Which is exciting. I'm excited. Ow.
Guys, Jesus, it took you forever to get here. What happened? I've been scared out of my mind. Hearing things.
No, it's fine. We'll tell him what we told him last time.
Clarissa was having a slow motion conniption, and I don't know, it just seemed more pressing.
Oh my god. Clarissa can handle herself. I'm the one that needed a babysitter until I was 14. Do you have, like, any idea what's going on?
Okay, that must be the way station. And actually, help me understand, why would an island need anything like that anyway?
Jonas, we're repeating the same stuff again.
We are? Oh, it's kind of weird. There's your boy.
Hey, Ren! We made it, finally.
Ren?
This is fine.
Ren, come on, what's the matter?
Ren!
What's he doing? Is he like...
I like the wiggles he does.
How he like fell asleep during all this.
Come on, pal, the neighbors are here and they want to borrow some sugar.
This isn't a guy on drugs. Not that I want to like...
Yeah, I don't want to say the word possession here, but...
Oof.
But...
I don't know if you remember, but the last time we got stuck, we used one of these things to get out of it, so... I'm not just messing around right now.
Yeah, I remember. Kind of.
Sort of. Possibly. Potentially. A little bit. There we go.
Hey, where'd Ren go? He was standing right there.
Oh god, please don't let me have screwed this up anymore.
Let's go see our buddy. Ren, my guy. Where are you? Look at the
Ren
broken
must have
phone.
used this to call us.
Oh, it looks smashed.
Okay, here's hoping that this actually works this time.
Crap. I don't... Maybe we shouldn't, go near him?
Ren, can you hear me?
I mean, I know they say don't move somebody with a spine injury, but it's like...
Oof.
We gotta do something, right?
Yeah, any thoughts on what we could do?
If I did have any thoughts on what would solve this, wouldn't that be a little weird?
It is here. Alright, please work.
Helping him, hopefully. I don't know.
Okay. I did win birds! I need you to know how excited I was about that. I did it so dang good. Also, hi, Fruity. Hold on, this isn't working? And that's a little frustrating. I need this to work. Like, actually. Is it here? It's not... Here, let's start over here. And very slowly... Nah, it's cool. The triangles are being particularly finicky today. And they're not wanting to work. Which is... terrible. Because we need to be able to depossess Ren here. But I can't do that because it's not working. And that's annoying. But yeah, I won birds, and I was very excited about that. Welcome home, Allie! There it is! You know... Is it not working? Why is it not working? Hold on a second. I'll check the sound commands in just a second. There it goes. The triangles were being buttholes.
Jesus, Ren, are you... Oh, God.
Talk through.
Oh. I do love you, though. I love you, bitch. I ain't never gonna stop loving you, bitch. At the very least, I'll just say it for you. Don't. I'm gonna have to check out what it's doing because it shouldn't be doing that. Also, this is different.
Possible.
I don't know what you mean, so I can't.
Grounded. By Adler. So, Margaret.
Pretty.
Little. Poppy.
Peggy Adler. That old woman? What does she have to do with anything?
That old woman was
Young.
once.
We were.
Young. Once.
Sit.
Still.
Bear. Fruit.
Okay. The way Jonas was like creeping up on us. Oh my god.
Ren. Man, my heart's going
Ren, Jesus, are you alright?
Yeah, just give me a second. Give me a week. Why? Why is this? Why? Actually, thanks for coming, by the way. Sure. Why is this happening? I mean, I've been here. I visited this place like 15 times.
We kinda did something.
So we fucked up.
What do you mean? Did you curse the island? Did you curse this island, you witch?
Ren, we were trapped in the cave.
We were all in the cave.
The exit had completely, like, disappeared.
Disappeared?
We tried to tune in this thing with the radio, and it opened something, and now there's like a poltergeist running around.
Yeesh. If we don't have our skin tomorrow, I'm blaming you.
That's fine.
Is this thing working? If anyone can hear this,
Dead
up there,
gates.
in whatever. I'm at the comm tower on Edwards Island.
Hey,
Wait, are the triangle things, when they get like this, is this like when they stop working, or something else?
Something
I
else.
think I took whatever class would have taught me that. Okay,
Also, we
now,
weren't able to
what
interact with
should
this
we do
last
about
time.
Nona?
We should get her.
We should get back there before she freaks out and runs away again.
I think that was our cue then. It's kind of a shortcut back to the communication tower if we go through this fence. Shouldn't take that long.
What? You made us walk all the... We had to take a goddamn moving bridge thing to get here, and all you had to do was go through a fence to get to the comm tower?
I didn't want to leave. I was scared. I'm sorry.
My god. Okay. So we need to cut across the bridge. Get to the comm tower that way. Go find Nona. Maybe fill in on zombie Clarissa? Consider? Go to the outpost. Let's go. Let's go! I'm just glad it worked this time. I don't want to have to go through all that stuff again.
Oh man, you know what just jumped into my head just completely randomly? That show in the, it was a horse ranch? Or a horse farm, but that makes it sound like
Horse
they have...
ranch show? What?
No, a year ago, out in Salem, we took over a stable and our band played, and you ditched that test again, right? To bring us a new amp? Because during the sound check, we blew ours. None of this is
What about tonight made this pop into your head? Is it just because we're, like, outside?
I don't know, but I can't believe you didn't tell Jonas this story yet. She had already blown off this, like, super important for school placement aptitude test once, and...
Why'd you do that?
I think she was indisposed?
Michael had just died, like, a month or two before, and I don't know, I just wasn't in the quizzing mood.
But you know, it's...
Valid!
That's not part of the story. Anyways, she was gonna retake it, and on the day of, I had to emergency call her way out in the... Just picture, like, Little House on the Prairie.
I don't know what that is.
It's a... Really?
Jonas,
You don't know
what?
Little House on the Prairie is?
Wait, you blew off an important test to get him an amp? Really? That was the thing you did?
Yeah, I mean, he needed his amp. And it was just a stupid test, so who cares?
And the funny part is, I'd taken that same test after dosing a bunch of cough medicine, and I still aced it, so she would have blown it out of the water. And even knowing that, she still came out to help me. That's awesome, right?
Of course he did. One of these days, Nate's dad is gonna start keeping a tally of his medicine cabinet.
And I will rue that day. Let me
Oh
tell
my
you.
goodness.
Yeah, I mean, even if you think the test was stupid, I don't know. Can't help but feel that you maybe should have probably still done it.
Really? Even if at the time she didn't care?
Why do you think so?
Listen, it's just...
Jonas, where
if I
are
was
you?
good at what you guys are good at, which is being smart, I wouldn't waste one of my few remaining test days on a show in a barn. No offense.
Hey, none taken.
Words to live by. Don't squander your potential on music manure.
Well, sorry. I dragged you out there and made you pet a horse and drink moonshine.
Oh, well, now that I know that moonshine was involved...
Jonas is gone forever. He's just never gonna return to the screen. That's fine. We didn't want him over here anyway. Oh, goodness.
Mayday! Oh, crap. This is just coming out of speakers in the roof thing, isn't it?
She's adorable, isn't she?
Ugh. My god, is this what I sound like?
Alright, so if
How
Nona's
can
in the comm
anyone
tower and
stand to
you're
listen to
all
me all
with
day?
us... God, where did Clarissa get off to?
Maybe Nona's seen her on the way in, or has a clue or something.
I think Clarissa would be with her then, though, right?
I'm just talking here.
You gonna load?
I
There it
see you
goes.
down there, and without Clarissa... Actually, I'm gonna stop talking since obviously isn't working, so just come on up and you can help or something. God, this stupid thing.
She doesn't sound good.
Feedback though.
Right? She sounds a little off. I don't know her well enough.
She's probably at least a little scared. She was freaked out when we ran into her, and we still haven't found her best friend, so...
I'm so glad I took that second brownie.
What? It's kind of, you know...
When did you take a second one? How many do you even have?
I ate it right when we got back to the fields. I thought you noticed.
Wait, you're
Oh
not
my
messing
God.
with us? You seriously took another one?
It was like half of one, all right? It's just to level me out. It'll bring me back up. That's what it does.
Fine. If that's what it takes to get you through the night, then okay. Great.
I don't need it. I just needed it now.
Uh-huh.
God.
Ren, you're an idiot. My God. Hi, Nona.
This
We're
thing
here
isn't
now.
Not getting anything?
I'm getting something, but it's like, I don't know.
We heard you on the squawk box. When I tried it, I just got static and a weird sound, so...
That's about all that I'm getting. Sorry I was like weird earlier, but hey, have you figured out what's going on yet? You have to know something. You've been like...
Look, we tuned into something in the cave, and it was like Gabriel sounded the trumpet. Just everything went terrible.
And, ghosts.
Yes. Oh, I got it. This is great.
Ghosts.
This is perfect. I know exactly what to do.
Do you?
Yeah, totally. It's Maggie Adler.
Maggie Adler?
What?
Yeah,
That's
she has a boat.
okay.
I mean, the boat's still here, but she's...
Her house, manor, or whatever it is behind a huge gate.
Ugh.
You can see it coming up here from Main Street.
No, I know, but the keys to it are here, somewhat readily available. My sister Allie worked at the parks office in town. She had to deliver that old woman her mail every day. I know that they have the key.
Okay, so...
No, we are not. We are not gonna go with the plan. The first plan put forth by the group's resident Burnout.
Hey, come on. I'm not a burnout. Okay, so...
Well, I mean, Jonas kind of does have a point here. Like, do you know there's a boat, or is this like when you knew the teacher?
I'm gonna side with Jonas this time.
Come on. I was like 13 when I thought they all got drunk at lunch. This is a real thing. There's a boat at her dock.
Ren, understand it is completely your fault that we're in this to begin with.
Jonas.
What? And now you want us to trust you when things are really bad? You had Alex bring the radio. You brought us here.
Come on, Jonas, this is nobody's fault. Ghosts are never anybody's fault, certainly not ours.
Yeah, guys, this isn't really productive.
It should be obvious to even the cheap seats that you're the only new weirdo who throws this whole social harmony thing we got going on out of whack. I mean, we all grew up with each other.
Okay, Ren, just take a step back, all right? Jonas isn't a weirdo. He's a good guy.
What?
Oh no.
Your good guy is like deploying a missile barrage of insanity on me right now. The stories I heard about this guy, he's a maniac. Okay?
Ren, get out of
He's
here.
gonna trash our only legitimate means of getting out of here if you buy into this crap.
Legitimate means? What are you even talking about? You have no idea if there's a boat
Okay,
down...
you're arguing 15 things at once now. Do the plan, trust Jonas, leave Ren, like, pick a target, or, better yet, just don't.
Yeah.
Look, I don't care what Caveman Jonas says. There is a boat at Maggie Adler's
Oof.
house, and the key to her house is back on Main Street.
And the backup plan for when this thing fails spectacularly is two of us have to stay here by the semi-functioning walkie-talkie.
Fine by me. Alex has the radio. Are you okay to go into town? Not that you wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, I'm fine, whatever, I'm ready.
We're gonna take Jonas with us.
You shouldn't go alone. We don't need like 3 of us up here.
Yeah, I'll totally go. It's my, like, brilliant idea or whatever.
Are you kidding? Your food is gonna start kicking in any second. Beyond that, you're a completely unreliable basket case.
I am not a basket case. You...
Stop it.
Sorry.
Okay, keeping in mind who you've been able to depend on the whole night.
Yes, keeping in mind who you're tired of.
Keeping in mind who's taller, who do you want coming with you?
Jonas, let's go.
Thank you.
What? First you let me sweat it out for like 2 hours in the woods to go gallivanting around with this guy, and now you're still picking him over me? Him?
Yes, Ren.
Him?
Rin, come on. It'll be fine. We'll watch the walkie-talkie.
Ren, you ate another brownie. What do you expect me to do?
I expect you to, like, care? I expect you to think, hey, maybe Ren needs some support. Just fine, whatever. Have fun, you two.
This
Bye.
isn't fun. That's the point.
Oh, God. Will you just shut up?
Okay.
Ren!
Before things get stupid again, good luck with the whole key thing. We'll be waiting.
Oh my god. Honestly, that whole interaction right there just, like, makes me despise Ren. I don't care if they're all actual children. Just get out of here. Spooky. Zooming in on us, and I think... Right? Ren is an asshole. Just straight up. Alex needs a better friend. Don't hang out with him. He's bad. We'll take Jonas and Nona and run. I don't know. I can keep in mind that they're all like 18, and I still hate it. Fucking hate teens. I get it. I get why they are the way they are, but it's like, I don't want to be around that anymore. Ugh. I don't miss that nonsense at all. I think it's particularly aggravating because I know, like, mid-late 20s people who are like this.
Because I don't think anything that I said was
Well, if you're going to say you're sorry, I guess the floor is yours.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get that far.
They're so bad.
And I just want to clear the air too, just so Ren or whoever can't use it as ammo against me. But
I'm so sorry.
You might have heard that I went to jail at some point. I never went to jail, but I did beat up a guy and get sent to juvenile detention for it. And I just wanted you to know so it wasn't like a thing hanging over your head or anything.
Why'd you do it?
Just, my mom got sick, and then she got real sick, and then this kid, Timmy Finster, threw a baseball at my head, and yes, he was joking, but I don't know, I just popped. Yeah, it was as stupid as it sounds, and I'm not going to defend myself.
You lost control, Jonas. It happens. We break sometimes.
My mom found out, of course, and I never really squared it with her in a way that, I don't know. Things never really work out the way you want, you know? But, whatever.
Are you okay?
It's not like I'm sick or whatever, I'm fine. I'm not gonna say I'm a good guy, Alex, but I'm trying to be. And that's really
fair.
about all I can say.
You are a good guy, Jonas. I'm a scary judge of people. I'm like a bee. I can sense stuff. But I'm serious now. You're a good guy. Okay? Say it. I'm a good guy.
Okay, alright, I'm a good guy. Let's just move on.
We're BFFs now. You better... I better get that achievement at the end. Let's go. Ooh, rock. Did we get this one? I don't remember.
How many of you are there?
Is that it? Yeah. We're down to the last 3. Again. It's always the final 3. Okay, go to the cliffs. Trying to think of like when to call it. We might call stream a little early.
I think you might have mentioned this before, but maybe the cobwebs are just
Thank you for the
clearing a bit or
contribution,
something.
Luna.
I feel like we've done this before, and not just like this little part, but like the whole night.
We're not, like, in a time loop right now, I don't think, so maybe it's just the residual time dirt rolling
I meant to
around.
say, like, I think you're right.
Yeah?
Allie, thank you as well. But yeah, we might... Excuse me. We might end stream a little early so that we have like our full time for Friday when we finish this, because we're getting towards the end, right? Slowly but surely. We're getting there. So it might be good to end now-ish?
This is...
Fruity, thank you for the contribution.
Are you, like, religious at all? I mean, my dad said your mom wasn't, but...
I can probably guess where you're going with this, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
I only bring it up because...
You want to see them aliens.
But, I don't know. I was just wondering if you were.
Yeah, I could see having some of that stuff could be timely now, just for processing this. Like, having some armor.
Some aspects of it just, help me, I guess, day to day. A little.
Like what aspects?
Just the, that everything... Well, not that everything happens for a reason or whatever, but just that some things are inevitable. I don't know. I'm just babbling now.
I get that. Don't worry about the stuff you can't control.
Yeah, but whatever.
Okay, we'll probably grab the radio and then get to, like, the next screen and then call it there for today.
Is that? Oh my god, is that Clarissa? She's...
Hi, Clarissa.
Well, I was gonna say okay, but I'm not too sure about that.
She's alive. You're alive. Man, I've never been so happy to see you in my life.
Oh, Jesus. She's doing the thing. The eye thing. Christ, this is not... I am not getting used to this, I'll be honest.
Okay, what do you guys want? This isn't... this is just really lost its charm, I have to say.
Maybe they wanna... Maybe the ghosts or whatever wanna help us somehow? Is that the, like...
They don't. They definitely do not want to help.
Whatever, like, talk through us or something? Something else? Clarissa, how are you, doing, hun?
Don't call her that.
Alex, little help over here.
I'm helping. Don't worry.
Clarissa, why don't you crawl down from there, please?
Oops, 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 oops. Where is the next one? Hello? There it is.
Jesus.
You think you can control me?
Clarissa?
I'm trying to help you. This will...
Help me. Help me. How will that help me? I was looking forward to seeing you. Yes, I used to dream about something like this.
It's helped the others. Ren and Nona, they've gone through the same...
Gone through what? Their children have gone through nothing.
When you're off, the little machine has no more heart than a brain.
No more heart.
Man, Jonas, what was all that about?
I don't know. Clarissa, are you alright?
You good?
Steady, just take it easy.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, just take it slow. You've just been through something.
Do you remember anything that happened?
I remember waiting in Fort Milner and seeing you.
That's it?
How did I get here?
I think we were hoping you could tell us that, but I don't even know if it matters. You're here now.
There's been, like, time disturbances or something, and I think that's what's been teleporting people around, so... And we just had one.
Time disturbances?
You really don't remember anything?
No, I remember something. I remember you with that radio, and I remember feeling like you were the reason all of this was happening.
Oh, Clarissa, please.
Wait, it's Clarissa's turn already?
Yeah, it's my turn. What do you mean it's Clarissa's turn already? I haven't even asked one question. Everyone's asking me. I get to do the asking now.
Are you controlling this?
It's, my turn, if that's what you mean. And you, of all people, should know what my question is gonna be, because I'm not gonna waste it.
Oh,
Alex,
no.
what did you do? Explain why me and my best friend and your idiot...
Look, when we went into the cave, we found a thing, and I used the radio to somehow tune it in, and I think it jump-started everything.
I see.
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
Jonas, now you're seeing who you're stuck to until graduation.
Clarissa, seriously, I can vouch for this. This isn't her
It
fault.
has to be her fault. Of course it's her fault.
Clarissa,
There's
chill.
no other way this story goes.
Okay, Clarissa, come on. I said I was sorry. You don't have to pile on.
Pile on?
No, come on, Clarissa. Let's not do this right
You're
now.
gonna learn, Jonas. I swear to God. The town looks at her like she has a red letter tattooed on her frickin' forehead.
Clarissa.
And the giant, lit up Christmas tree reason why is that Michael is dead because of her. Because of her.
It would take a very sick person to see it that way, and I would love to hear the explanation.
Michael was out of town. He was free. He was out of here until this one convinced him to take her swimming for one last God knows what. And he drowned. He drowned in Horn Lake while this one could barely flap her arms.
Clarissa.
It doesn't make it my fault. Anyone could have been there. Anyone. And then they would have had to watch him die, you unbelievable prick.
Anyone wouldn't have watched him die, Alex. Anyone else would have done something.
Okay, enough. Seriously.
Oof.
Clarissa, this is so... I can't even believe we're talking about this right now.
Jonas, just don't think of me like...
I don't. I won't. But right now, we're gonna break into that office, and we're gonna find the key. And we're going to go home.
No.
No, what do you mean no?
All the OXENFREE.
Wait, what?
We've
Wasn't
been
Clarissa with us
trying
like 2
to be
seconds
nice
ago?
to Clarissa.
It was like she was just here. Did she run back to the gate?
Yeah. Yeah, she was, but we're looping again, so...
Also, we're gonna
God
end
only knows where
soon.
she is now.
I don't understand. How
But
what we
we've
did in
been
that cave is making
extra
making
nice to
any of this
Jonas as
happen.
well.
Like, what are the triangles? What are the gates? Why are there ghosts? Why?
Hold on.
I don't know if I buy the whole we're causing it thing. The ghosts could be messing with stuff, messing with us. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna... Whatever. We're here to get the key, and then we can leave and put all of this far behind us. Let's do it. The office is right here.
Okay. I mean, we were trying to be nice to Clarissa,
Let's
but
get
Clarissa
in.
is
Come on,
making it
Alex.
very difficult.
Yep, this isn't budging.
Well, the lock looks, less
I
than
mean, Clarissa
modern.
is not
Let's
capable
just
of being
reinforce
nice.
it.
Facts.
It might
But
splinter,
we've
but
been...
we should get in.
Brute
Brute
force.
force it.
What is that supposed to
Hold
mean?
on.
Elbow
I need
grease,
everyone to-
shoulder, lard. We're gonna break down the door, okay? Us,
Shoulder
together.
lard? Not the shoulder lard. Shove the door.
All right. Let's see if
We've been
Ren's
keeping
plan is
Jonas
a good
close to
one
us
or
and
not.
chatting with him as much as possible. Ren's a good egg, I guess.
If he
He's
thinks
not.
there's something
He's not a
in
good
there,
egg.
Probably is. I once saw him guess the exact change in his couch cushion, down to the nickel.
Good for him.
And we tried to get Nona and Ren together, but when I mentioned it to Nona that Ren liked her, she's like, I'm not interested in anything. And it's like, okay, that's cool. So we told Ren that. I don't know
what kind
how
of
that's
jet that
gonna
is?
fix
Not a
anything,
chance.
but you know.
Cool. Carry on. Sign up for the aquatics program. Please register at the front desk.
Bad sounds.
Never gets old.
I think.
So yeah,
there's
we'll see
something.
how it
It's another
differentiates things.
Pocket radio, I think. But
It's been neat seeing the differences that have shown up, just like the different imagery and like the different
Here's another one.
dialogue.
It says they're wall radios. Wall stands for wave-assisted lock. Ah, they use that frequency thing, where each frequency is like a key to open the doors around here.
But yeah,
It
we were
says
gonna
that
head
we
back
use them like
to...
identification tags. It must work for the gate too.
Yeah, we've come across a couple of bugs. One of the... When we went to help Ren,
Personal effects of Margaret.
the
Bradford
radio station wasn't available. Why would her stuff be here?
Didn't her family, or like, hasn't her family been carting her things back to town?
We can head back. I'm just gonna... Here, this is... To whom
Oh.
it should concern. This is a letter from her? This island and its history is a lie. Wow. Well, this is going somewhere.
What is that? Who's it for?
To whom it should concern, it says right at the top. I've been compelled by both forces outside my control and my own willful concern for the safety of others to conceal the many truths about Edwards Island. But now I feel any further inaction may carry a far greater...
Forces outside her control. Like...
Oof.
Like ghosts or the army, or what
Or
was she talking
frequency
about?
switch
I
for the
don't
radio?
know. Inside, you'll find
No?
2 wall-equipped radios. I have commandeered the old Cardinal Station,
I mean, I pull it up,
140.1,
and then I
and
can
used it to
tune
relay
it.
clues to nearby beacons buried throughout the area. Find these beacons in the notes within, and discover the true chronicle of the island.
Oh, scavenger hunt!
Scavenger hunt!
Scavenger hunt! Scavenger hunt!
Wait.
Hold on, we still have the letters, though, don't we? JK, we don't. They don't carry
Whosoever
over.
finds the material know that I am discomfited for keeping it hidden, and ashamed for the lies I helped preserve, but also know that I acted in what I felt were the best interests for all at the time, and truly for the interest of time itself.
I've seriously had like dreams.
I guess,
about
do we
this.
want to find all the letters again, or
Secret
do we
to
want to
meet up,
just
it turning out
see
to
what
be
happens if we don't
unicorn.
find them?
Please do not get glassy eyes over this, okay? We do not have to dig up some old lady's recycling. We can just go home.
I ask because I know that there's one, like, right here. So do we want to find the letters again? Or do we want to see what happens if you don't get them? I kind of want to see what happens if you don't get them. I guess, like, I imagine, like, it helps. Or, like, it changes an ending if you find all of them or not. Is that true? I don't mind looking for them. I just want to know before I, like, fully leave the area, but I'm already leaving the area, so I don't think we're gonna find them this time. We'll see what happens. This is fine. I do want to try and find all the anomalies, though. I would like your opinion on whether the letters affect the outcome.
Alex, why are you wearing that jacket? It's like 75 degrees.
Although, I did say we were going to end here. It's only, like, by 10 minutes, but this is a good spot to stop so that we can finish this on Friday. Yay. You don't think the letters matter other than collectible lore extras? Okay. Okay, good to know. Then yeah, we're not going to bother with it, because I did pick up all of them the first time through. So we are caught up on lore, and I've gotten all the achievements for that. So, yeah. Let me exit out of this dang game real fast. We're gonna end here. We'll finish this on Friday, and this will probably be the last run that we do on stream, regardless of the outcome. I'll probably do more in my own time, but you know, that's fine. But yeah. Shall we find someone to raid? Go say hi to some friends. I don't really have anyone online right now. Is anyone streaming OXENFREE? Or is it just me again? It's just me again. Only me. Alright, well, I've got Emageddon doing some Down in Bermuda, and LouBug96 doing some just chatting. I imagine she's doing a co-working stream. Is anyone streaming Hattress? No, it's still just you. You are the Hattress champion, Fruity. Just you. We can go hang out with Lou if everyone's up for that. Got a lovely, comfy co-working stream over there. Otherwise, I'm willing to take suggestions. While you're all figuring that out, there are our raid messages. Oh, I need to get up and put some nonsense, some stuff on my shoulder, because this is ridiculous. It's better than it was, but it's still not great. Alright, we're gonna start the raid for LouBug. I love you too, Smiley. Listen, you're great. This has been super fun, though. I'll be back this evening, at 6 p.m. Central with The Last of Us, and then we'll finish out OXENFREE on Friday, and we'll do an indie stream on Friday as well. I'm excited. It's gonna be great. Take care of your dang selves. We'll see you later. Have a good rest of your time zone. So long, friends.